You want to know the who, the where, the what, the why, the how, and the when of the snack food and junk food world? The sAs has got you covered. It's OTR, on the road, and it's next. Stay tuned. All right, Brandon, back with you here with sAs OTR for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2013. And you know what they say, everybody deserves a second chance. Well, I am giving Jersey Mike subs a second chance, as back in the spring of 2012, I did a review of this very location, which is on Richmond Highway in the Fairfax County section of Alexandria, Virginia. Not the real city of Alexandria, mind you, just this weird part where they actually call it Alexandria when it's not. It's part of Fairfax County. It just doesn't have any identity of its own, so everybody just calls it Route 1 or down the highway. Anyway, so I didn't give Jersey Mike subs a very favorable review back then, and there was a couple of reasons. I'm sure my mood that day had something to do with it. I had been dumped basically at 4 o'clock in the morning prior to this review, and that's never a good thing. But beyond that, the guy put a lot of lettuce on the sub, and that just didn't, strike me as the way I would like my sub, because I don't like a lot of shredded lettuce, particularly shredded lettuce on my sub. And maybe a cold roast beef sandwich is not their best offering, who knows. So anyway, last week I reviewed Firehouse subs in Annandale, and I reviewed their meatball sub, and I got a lot of responses saying, hey, Jersey Mike's is way better. Even Mr. Dirty from the GTM show said that Jersey Mike's is better, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. And hey, you can't go wrong, because generally speaking, your meatball sandwiches don't have lettuce on them, right? Right. So let's check out what I got. I got their meatball sub combo, just like I got at Firehouse last week. And let's see. First of all, I am a little bit tweaked because this thing was a mess to even get open to begin with. And I'm glad I opened it before I started the video, because trying to open this thing with one hand would have been quite a task. And I mean, you got a bag, first of all, you got foil, you got paper, etc. I'm not trying to be too negative, but when I try to open this, it takes off about half of the cheese, and that's not cool. And this thing's, in general, just an effing mess. Now, general run through of how I liked the Firehouse sub last week. It was also on white bread and with melted cheese on top. Their sauce was kind of sweet, which I kind of like, and the meatballs were gigantic and juicy and moist. Will this stand up to that? We'll find out. The price of this thing was actually about $1 less than the combo that I got at Firehouse last week. It ended up being about $9 total, and then I had a $1 off coupon, which they gladly took, and it made it about $8 for this regular size sandwich, plus Mrs. Vicky's Smokehouse barbecue chips, and a regular size 22-ounce soda. I got Sierra Mist because I've already had my caffeine for the day. Alright, so beyond this looking like an absolute atrocity of a mess here, it does look pretty tasty. The aroma is kind of that kind of feet cheese smell going on. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's just the natural scent of the provolone, but we'll find out. Let me see if I can even pick this up without causing a major problem. Yeah, of course, half of the paper and everything is coming with it. Not too bad. Alright, not as bad as I thought. The size of the meatballs doesn't seem to be quite as big as the Firehouse, and it doesn't look like you get quite as many, but we're going to find out how it tastes. Guys, take a look at the bag while I take a bite. The meatballs appear to be a little bit more homemade, I would say, just taking a look at their shape. But anyway, I'm going to take a couple more bites, and I'll be right back with my opinion on Jersey Mike's meatball sub. Okay guys, I am back with my thoughts on the Jersey Mike subs meatball and cheese sub. The regular, again, with the combo, cost about $9, or it was $6.75 by itself. Not a bad price for a good regular size sub. Do I like this as much as the Firehouse sub? Well, that question will be answered by the computations and calculations that are going to go on right here. Okay, first of all, the bread. I actually like the bread better on the Jersey Mike's sub. I think it's chewier, tastes a little bit fresher, a little bit more homemade. So that is a point in favor of Jersey Mike's. Now, the sauce. The sauce itself, I actually liked Firehouse's sauce a little bit better. The reason being is because it was a little bit sweet, and there's absolutely no sweetness at all to this, I was going to call it Jimmy Jams. It's not Jimmy Jams or Jimmy John's, it's Jersey Mike's subs. There's no sweetness to this sauce at all. And honestly, I got kind of a microwaved thing going on from the sauce. It was so hot that it didn't seem quite like it had been cooking for a long time. It seemed like it had just been nuked or blasted by the heat. So I'm not sure if that's the case, if they have a microwave in there or not, but it just gave me that kind of sense because it was very, very hot. Also, the meat, I guess, would be next. That's the main component of a meatball sub, right? Right. Honestly, it didn't seem to have quite as much internal flavor as the meatballs from the Firehouse subs, and it wasn't quite as juicy and moist. There is plenty of meat in there. They just weren't formed balls. I can't take off for that. It seemed like they chopped up some gigantic meatballs, and it still makes it a meatball sub. So there's no points off for that, but I think I do like the Firehouse meat a little bit better. And as for the cheese, I really can't judge it because not a lot of cheese was left on the sub. Most of the cheese was left on the paper, guys. I'm not kidding. So I can't really give it a judgment on that. So that makes the Firehouse sub actually a better sub, in my opinion. I know I'm going to take a lot of heat from that in the comments, but what can I tell you? I like the Firehouse a little bit better. Now, this is not a bad sub. Not at all. It's not a waste of my money. It's going to be a great lunch. I really enjoy those few bites that I had so far. Good sub altogether. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3/4 thumbs up. I would buy it again. If I was riding past here and I was in the mood for a meatball sub, I'd certainly stop and get this meatball sub again. Not going to complain about it other than the fact that they wrapped it so tight that the cheese came off on the paper and made it kind of messy overall. So yeah, I do like the Firehouse a little bit better, guys. But you know, I like this one pretty much too. This is a pretty good sub, but it's just not as good as the Firehouse. All right, let me go ahead and get a quick taste of these Miss Vicky's barbecue chips, smokehouse barbecue. One thing I will say is that they seem to have the same chips here that everybody else has, which is fine. You know, they've got a few Miss Vicky's flavors, plus a few Doritos, a few Sun Chips, and a few Lay's flavors. But the problem is, that's exactly the same thing that Quiznos has. That's exactly the same thing that Firehouse has. That's exactly the same thing that Subway has. These guys have no imagination when it comes to chips. If I were running a sandwich shop and I had a selection of chips, I would have these too. But I'd also have some special chips that I'd have brought in from other areas of the country, or even other parts of the world. Maybe just a couple varieties, and maybe they would change every month, and they would just be limited edition, limited time flavors. But I don't know. I just think the chip game in the sub business is a little bit lacking and a bit unimaginative. This is a nice orange kettle chip, nice curl to it. Some guy's giving me the hairy eye over there. I don't know what that's all about. Smell like a decent barbecue. Apparently it's got a delicious new barbecue taste, so let's look out for that. Let me take a quick bite of this and I'll let you know what I think. Salty, very salty. That's the first thing I noticed, and not enough barbecue, honestly. I think it needs a little more blast of barbecue flavor on there. The barbecue flavor I'm tasting is nice and I want to say almost like mesquite. A nice smoky flavor going on there, but you know, that being said, not a ton of barbecue on there. I'd give those about a half of a thumb up. No big deal on those. Okay, guys, so check out pizza night on Friday. It's going to be the 3 cheese teas, which is, of course, the triple cheese or 3 cheese stuffed crust pizza by Pizza Hut. I might even have a guest co-host along with me for that episode, so check that out on Friday. Also, perhaps another guest host or guest co-host for OTR next week. A couple of things are being worked out, and that may happen soon. Don't know what the subject matter will be, but it should be somewhere in the Springfield, Virginia area. Also, starting this Saturday, you're going to see a new episode every day of either Trick or Treat Quick Chips or Trick or Treat Snack Briefs featuring myself, Heel Will Mahoney, cameraman Alex, and more. So stay tuned for that all Halloween week. It's going to be very spooky, kids. All right, I'm going to stop babbling at you right now. Tell you to click on the link in the description down below. Join the SAS on Facebook. We have an awesome time. We're almost at 100 members now, so keep it up. Join, and if you're the 100th member, you'll be the coolest kid in town. Also, subscribe to the videos. The SAS Snacks channel is running wild across this country and around the world. Also, like the videos if you like the videos. If you don't like the videos, don't like the videos. If you're looking for organic food and non-GMOs and things like that, you're watching the wrong channel, guys. You know, go watch the freaking Lentil Bean channel or something like that. Don't be watching my channel and giving me a hard time. In the meantime, in between time, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.